culture. I would ask Tom this, and this is a surprising question maybe, to nominate for me one thing, just one thing, that Christianity has introduced that doesn't have some source, some parallel, some analogy in previous and in other civilizations. One novelty, one innovation in thinking about anything, ethical, metaphysical, anything you like. And I must say I've racked my brains over this often enough, and I cannot think of one. I would love to hear if there is one.
Do you accept that challenge?
Absolutely. I think the ideal of lifelong matrimony, I think that's a very distinctive Christian concept. I think the category of what by the 19th century is coming to be categorized as homosexuality and heterosexuality, I think they have no precedence. I think the notion of secularism, the idea of there being religions, I think all these are entirely exclusive to Christian civilization. I think the concept of science as it emerges in the 19th century, I think is entirely exclusive to Christian civilization. I think the idea that human beings are created in the image of God, that is obviously something that Christians share with Jews, but that is it gives a degree of dignity to human beings that no other cultural tradition that I'm aware of even remotely approximates to. So I think that all of those are and essentially what I'm talking in giving that is I am talking about what makes Western civilization distinctive. And one of the things that absolutely makes Western civilization distinctive, and it's an inheritance of its Christian past, is its assumption that its values are universal. This has been fundamental to the way that Christians have understood their faith, that it is for all of humanity. And to this day, the heirs of that cultural tradition want to believe that their values are not contingent, but somehow are the property of all humanity.
Okay, so now with that in view, here's a little cherry on the top. Like I said, just a few minutes worth of dialogue that we had within the Wisdom Society dealing with this same topic. Enjoy.
All men are created equal. And without a Christian worldview, that doesn't make any sense at all, because people are born into different economic classes, or, they have different levels of intelligence, their different wealth and privilege, and to think that all men are created equal, that sounds absurd unless you're thinking of it before God. Before God, we are all created equal, and no one, despite their status and outward appearances, we all stand equally before Him.
Yeah, and remember how in the book, I don't know what page this was on, but he was saying that the humanist basis for human value is basically that we can reason. And one thing that I think that's interesting about that is that certainly there would then be a spectrum of value based on the extent to which someone can reason. In other words, the greater level of development you have mentally, apparently the greater value you have. If reason is the basis for value, then, for example, Gabriel is more valuable than me, and I'm more valuable than my newborn baby, right? If value is based on basically intellect or reason, rather than some more primary ontological reality that has been given to us by God that sets us apart from the rest of creation, which is what Genesis says. But then God breathed into His nostrils the breath of life, and we are made in His image, a unique feature of the cosmos. And I think that biblical account actually explains human uniqueness and human value, regardless of level of development, regardless of age, ethnicity, size, location, etc. That a human being is a different thing than every other thing. The biblical account gives a sufficient basis for human uniqueness and human value, regardless of any of these other traits. But reason, as your primary value indicator, has huge ethical problems attached to it. Basically, the higher IQ, the more valuable, or how far do we want to go with this thing? So I think that it's a very interesting point that you're making.
If